I put up a Q&A poll on my Instagram, and I got so many thoughtful questions. So I thought I'd get into some of these answers. I won't be able to answer all of them, but if you follow me on Instagram and slide into my DMs and ask any questions that you might have, I'll try my best to get to those. So the first question is, how do you deal with creative burnout? Yeah, I try to have a system or a process that will help me right before I get completely burnt out. Sometimes my process could sound like meditating or praying or just spending time with God and myself, putting my phone across the room and not answering phone calls. Or even sometimes the opposite helps, spending time with people like family and friends who know nothing about cinematography. That really helps, and it inspires me and just gives me that fresh confidence to jump back into whatever I'm doing. So the next question is, were you financially scared before fully committing to film, or do you work a job too? I don't work another job. I'm a full-time filmmaker and creative. But yes, I was very, very scared of, making that transition. But I was more scared of spending my life, spending 15 years of my life doing something that I did not love. Especially at a young age. I was 18, 19, doing something that I didn't feel like I needed to do. Especially when you're at that age, you should be taking risks because you have, time as your advantage. So when you're that young, take those risks. That's the best time in your life to be taking those risks and actually figuring out what you love to do. And I actually used to work with a guy named George. Shout out to you, George. But he used to give some really good advice to people who came into the job who were young. George been at this job for 15 plus years, and he always used to just say, do what you love. Some people really love what they do, working at these jobs. But he always could see a young guy coming in there. If he realized that they didn't love what they were doing, he always advised them to actually go take those risks and find something that they actually love to do and they can do for 20 plus years. But I did take a financial hit when I made that transition from working a job to going full-time in filmmaking. But fortunately, I didn't have as many responsibilities and things that I had to take care of. I really was just kind of living for myself, and that made it super easy for me to make that transition. Next question is, what's something that you learned that helped you see a change in your footage? I didn't know how important having a mentor was. Having a mentor is so key. Learning stuff on YouTube and learning and doing, rinse and repeat is okay, but having someone you can bounce ideas, they can critique your work, that just helps you skip so many levels at a fast pace. And I think, having a mentor is so vital to your work and your footage and just how you grow as an artist and a creative. Next question is, what makes your heart happy besides filmmaking? My family and friends, having my tribe with me when my brain is just so saturated with filmmaking and learning and tips and tricks. It's like my family really just pulls me out of that world. It just gives me that confidence I can take and put it back into my work. Next question is, who or what is your inspo as far as your visual style goes? Someone who inspires my visual style is, of course, my brother and my mentor, Morgan Cooper. He's just a super dope, creative human being, and I'm very fortunate to have someone like that in my corner to bounce ideas off of, and just hearing his ideas and his aspirations is just inspiring. Iron sharpen iron, so you gotta stay around people who keep you on your toes and keep your game sharp creatively. So, and funny to say, music has always inspired my visual style. How rappers and artists use different flows and how they compose a song. I really, really enjoy music, and music has always inspired a lot of my visual ideas and style. And the next question is, how do you start shooting for production companies? So production companies want to see the work you've done as a freelancer. Do a lot of spec work if you're not getting paid for these jobs. Take that downtime and put it into your personal projects. And, put together a demo reel, and you will send this demo reel out to production companies, or production companies will reach out to you once they see your work. If they feel like your work match up with the project that they're working on, you will be hired on. But it all starts with your work, your spec work. So yeah, get to some personal projects and get in front of these guys who are in charge with hiring you for the productions. All right, the next question is, what's your roadmap to becoming a good videographer without resources available? So when I'm thinking about this question, I think about resources and where they come from, or how do you acquire resources. There's always resources. You just have to flip your perspective. If you feel like you necessarily don't have any resources, use your network. Reach out to friends who have production companies, or try to get to people who do have the resources that you need. You don't only have to reach out to people who own production companies or who are in the film industry. Reach out to your family. Maybe they have a dope car you can use for a music video or a film, or maybe they'll loan you some money to go buy a piece of gear. So there's always resources available. You just have to get more creative when it comes to finding resources, and utilizing your network and friends more often. The next question, what was your first paying video gig? My first paying video gig was a music video for my friend. That was $250. I have a lot of friends that do music, so it wasn't hard for me to find someone to go shoot a music video for. So one of my friends reached out to me and he said he had a $250 budget. Yeah, that was my first paying gig. It was one of my friends who did music, and the music video came out like a first music video. I don't think it wasn't the best. And the next question is, what are you working on for personal projects? So I'm currently working on a short film, and I'm super early on in the pre-production right now. Yeah, that's where most of my energy is going, and I want to get this shot and out in the next few months, so stay tuned for that. That's what I'm working on right now. A lot more YouTube videos, and staying consistent with you guys. Yeah, I think that's it for these questions. Like I said, if you have any more questions, just shoot me a DM, and I'll try my best to answer those questions. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys next time.